Hey, everybody. Thanks for downloading this post-game edition of the Black and Gold podcast, and it's brought to you by Appalachian Commercial Real Estate. Appalachian Commercial Real Estate provides professional commercial real estate services in the Boone area. They provide sales, leasing, consulting, and appraisal services to owners and users of commercial real estate. If you want more information, you can go check out their website, AppalachianCRE.com. And the world's most famous App State fan, Big C, will tell you how to get in contact with President James Milner.
That telephone number is 828-719-0408.
That's right. Thanks, Charles. So where does yesterday rank on the level of not like bad losses or hurtful losses? Because I think you and I are often drawn to 2009 Montana, just being painful. That was painful, it hurt. But as far as just being embarrassed, I know we're recording this early on a Sunday morning. Where does it rank for you initially here?
I could certainly think back to some games that made me feel bad and being frustrated about losing or how we lose and how we play and things of that nature. But, I think the word embarrassment certainly comes into play. That's something that will describe how a lot of people feel. But I would be more hurt if I didn't know that's what was probably going to happen yesterday. I had several people ask me, it's like, what do you think the result's going to be? I was like, I hope we play well. I hope that we make it a game and compete. And if we get beat by JMU, we just get beat. And that's okay. It's okay to lose if you had a good plan, you tried hard, you didn't make dumb mistakes, you didn't, shoot yourself in the foot. But that is what we continue to do. And I told several people, I was like, I just hope it doesn't get ugly. I hope they don't win by 50. I hope they don't score 50. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened.
It's a good way to say it. There's nothing good to talk about this game. There's zero good to talk about this game. The defense was.
Yeah, go ahead. No, yeah, the defense. I think we can talk about how the defense gave ourselves a chance for the offense to actually try and do something. For the first
took the ball away.
Yeah, for 20 minutes. First 20 minutes, it was a manageable football game. And that's not to say that everything the defense did was great or perfect or where they didn't get beat, on plays, right? James Madison found a guy who could run a crossing route that we couldn't keep up with and converted a lot of third downs that way. And that was part of their recipe that slowly put us away as it did.
They were left hanging out to dry,
mm-hmm.
And if we're going to be really, really honest, there's only, our secondary is very bad. Our defensive line put up a good effort, but that, really, all due respect, but after a while, you can only do so much in so little amount of time with your offense being a non-factor before things break down and the other team, the better team, just bursts like a dam, right?
That is I think probably the most frustrating part. Yeah, is that I don't think James Madison played excellent yesterday. That might feel hard to believe.
Yeah.
But we managed the game so poorly on offense that it gave them 58 points.
Yeah.
And that is probably my hardest thing to digest.
Yeah.
Is that I know it's really easy to say, well, don't run the ball if you're not running the ball well, or you're not going anywhere with it. But you can't be one-dimensional and give up 58 points. We could have easily called that game better on offense and avoided the lopsidedness of this score.
It was baffling.
You can run the ball and win, but you can also run the ball to lose by a lot less. and give your defense a better chance. And to me, it almost is just really baffling. Great word. That the thoughts were that the best way to get back into this game is to give James Madison the ball more times. Like if you need the other team to not score, well, then you need to keep it in your hands for possession more, and you need to not give it to them to convert third downs. And we may have played the worst game on offense I've ever seen an App State offense play yesterday. From execution to management to choice of plays being ran. I would like to think it does not get any worse than that. I would like to think. I don't know if I'm wrong.
I think one, just off the top of my head, just looking over the box score, and you had mentioned yesterday about just the one net rushing yard. The one that comes to mind is 2011 Maine, where we rushed for 3 yards, and it felt like we were just as discombobulated and flat and bad. I think this is worse, but to your point, like it just brought back memories of just other times it's been almost unexplainable. But my point in saying all this is, and this is such a huge topic. James Miller's going to get his money's worth with this comment. Nobody should be surprised about where we are and how this is going. Because we have we're in a situation where someone has taken the brand of Appalachian State in an effort to, get us back to competing for a conference championship, get back to bowl winning. Someone's learning on the job of how to do all of it, except for recruiting and in recruiting on his own. And I guess coordinating an offense. And that hasn't gone very well. This was my main concern because folks, there's nothing we can say about this. Isn't going to be an episode of, we did this well, and silver lining here is this. I mean, we've had those conversations. The truth of the matter is, this season we have 4 wins, and those 4 wins have come against unbelievably terrible teams, like unbelievably terrible. Like, I don't think you can point to a worse strength of victory season ever that I can think of. I mean, you'd have to really dig into the archives for that. But when we were going to have to, when the decision was made, we're going to have a new football coach. I've said it on the show. I said it back in December. My main concern was hiring somebody that had put together a staff before and basically strengthen the areas that I think needed to be strengthened, which was, I think we needed a better cohesive staff. I thought last year that was just a struggle. That was a struggle of the previous regime is the staff was a problem, and we need somebody to put together who's done that before, hire a good staff that will be on the same page and all that good stuff. In recruiting, and that we need to prioritize recruiting and be obsessed with recruiting, and somebody that has been in charge of 120 people, right? I mean, it's probably more than that. Appalachian State football has a whole bunch of people in that umbrella between the actual players, trainers, walk-ons, scholarship players, analysts, assistant coaches, everything. Someone that's actually done that before. And what we have is a guy that's done one of those things, which is recruit. And that's in the context of himself. He's recruited himself. Like, he's gone out and recruited, for in a silo for himself, but never run a staff with, and being responsible for recruiting for an entire staff. And this is what you get. You get somebody that is learning how to lead on the fly, which we shouldn't be the training wheels, and you take a gamble when you do that. you roll the dice, you take a gamble, and you say, well, I hope that you can do this thing you've never done before. Then you roll the dice. And right now, Coach Loggins is over his head with the responsibilities of the job. I'm a believer that no one's too far gone. I mean, you can always improve. You can always get better. Always. Everyone's got to have their first job. Everyone's got to have their first head coaching job. But anytime you roll the dice on somebody who's never done something before, you run the risk of someone learning on the job for the first time. And we are identity-less. We have gotten worse over time. Everybody was really excited, me included. Hello, me included. After that Charlotte game, I was like, let's go. We look crisp. We look good. And we followed that up with Lindenwood, which was the opposite. Lindenwood, by the way, I looked it up yesterday. They're 5-4.
It's the best team we've played all year.
It's
the best team we beat is an FCS.
Yeah, that's the best win we've had all year. And it is. We have gotten worse, and it is. I hate to say it because I'm kind of like you, Charles. Like, I hate to say it, like I was not. The severity of the lopsidedness of the score and 58-10. I mean, that was pretty lopsided, and maybe I was surprised by the extreme lopsidedness, but getting manhandled by JMU was not something that I was surprised by. It's embarrassing, but at the same time, like I'm trying to be realistic. Like, we are where we are, and you either can accept that and say, all right, well, we got to get better. I mean, I'm not sitting here banging the drums and calling for jobs and stuff. I'm not doing that. This is what it is. Everything is top down. Everything is top down. Everything flows from the top. And I knew I felt we covered this really, really clearly last year. I felt that we were going to be worse this year because we were, best players on a bad team left, and it was going to be a struggle. But this is but you have to figure, if you have a solid staff and that at some point you maintain, you get a little better, you build. And I know we've had big injuries on offensive line, and that's the biggest one of our problems, I think. But we gotten worse. And I think that you can't hand wave that away and say, well, but he inherited a bad. Yeah, he did 100%. But I mean, that's been acknowledged. That's true. 100% true. But we're getting worse. And identity was a really big deal for our team last year. 2023 was kind of like keep digging and keep going and scrappy, no one believes in us kind of deal. That can only last so long. At some point you need to do something else and have a different identity. And we don't have it. Yesterday it was so bizarre seeing our offense work against our defense.
Yeah.
And it's like what and that's what I'm saying, top down stuff. And I'm sure somebody on the staff or whatever can come back and really lay it out why it was the way it was. But I'll tell you what it felt like to me watching. What it felt like. It felt like somebody that kind of disappeared into their OC world and forgot, hey, you actually are in charge of the other side of the ball too. You have to consider that side of the ball too. And it really was, man. It was like our offense was playing against our defense. Whoopsie, oops, your turn. Anyway,
when we played that main game in 2011, since you brought it up, as I typically do, and I do remember we did not run the ball well that game as far as results, only 3 yards. But we did run the ball 25 times that afternoon.
Yeah.
We ran the ball 15 times yesterday.
Yeah.
We had like only one drive outside of our scoring drives at the end of the game. Nope, miscalculating this. Two outside of our scoring drives. Two drives that lasted longer than 2 minutes, and one was a 2-minute and 2-second drive that went 5 plays and 5 yards, and a 2-minute and 15-second drive that went 3 plays and 19 yards. Everything else was short, like 53 seconds on a 3-play 0-yard drive to open a game.
Yeah.
The 4-play 22-yard drive, then an interception, the ball should never been thrown. Just bad execution. You needed one guy to block a guy. We had 2 guys to do it, and they both failed.
Yeah.
But everything else was like quick. It was 3 plays, 3 yards, 3 plays, 3 yards, 3 plays, 10 yards, under a minute, punting it back.
Yeah.
That's how you get to 58.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get to 58 when the other team, has 627 yards of offense, and you possess the ball for 17 minutes and 42 seconds for the entire game, and you're just I think there would have been times in that late in the third quarter yesterday, after the game was the only thing that was up for interpretation or was in doubt was what the final score would be, and that we're still attempting to throw the ball to get back in the game with a quarterback who'd been eaten alive, and not protecting the health of the person that you believe to be the best quarterback on the roster.
Yeah.
Not protecting the health. So that's mismanagement. And, you can decide in the third quarter, all right, white flag this. We're going to start running the ball. And James Madison might not call blitzes. They might not go after Swan. But as long as you're doing that and you're giving yourself a chance down 31 or whatever, 38, James Madison's out there on those following possessions on first down throwing the ball in a game that's decided. So you're inviting that situation to occur. You're requesting to get drugged.
Yeah.
And there were parts of me yesterday, whether these were fluid and straight brain thoughts, probably not, because there's so much emotion that we have when we're watching our team play. And that it almost looked like, we're asking ourselves, is this the bottom? It was almost like, it felt like to me that someone was searching for the bottom so that we could find that and then perhaps make ourselves look better when success comes, hopefully at some point.
Yeah.
And that creeped in my mind yesterday. I don't even think that's fair. Like, it's not, but it felt like it.
Yeah.
Like, that's not right. And you said a lot, you said a lot a few minutes ago. Just the ability to play decent and to have a little bit of something, a little bit of pride in what you're doing, and to protect your players.
Yeah.
And we all know this is what we were scared of. This is probably why we didn't want to have happen what happened last year after last season. It's because there's probably going to be this idea that this is going to be a reset year, but no one who collects paycheck from Appalachian State come out there and say this is going to be a reset year. You need to understand that we might not be good this year, or we may not be as successful as you would hope that we would be after a new coaching hire. That like things just magically work and you snap your fingers and you're back in a bowl game, and that's just not the way it is anymore. When you have to make a change, you're going to have a season like this is more likely to happen than not. And certainly, a lot of people may compare this to 2013 with Jerry Moore and Scott Satterfield, but it's not, because how long is it in Scott Satterfield? He wasn't one
different
of our
era.
guys. He wasn't one of our guys. It's a different era. It's and there's so much you can't even compare to that.
This was Man, I don't know how much how much heat I want to give the post game show. This is not about the win loss record. People that are fuming, and because I've seen a lot. Like I saw people, and I had screenshots sent to me yesterday by people that could not have been more excited for a new regime change to now they're like, well, it's over. This is, we're losing too much. We're so bad. Fire 'em. It really, to me, is actually not about the win loss record. It's really not about we're not a good team this year. That's actually not it. That plays a factor into it because this year was likely to be very much a struggle, very much. Because of the reasons that we've already gone over. And if you're not up to speed, know what I'm talking about, then I don't know, go back and listen to it. But this was going to be tough anyway. Not a good team losing its best player. It's going to be a struggle. You have to replace them, all that other stuff. Go listen to last week's episode and whatever if you want to go over that again. It's bad because the way this is happening, everything is happening in an antithetical way to how things work at Appalachian State, at a mid-major, at a football school that is chippy, punch-up football school. Things are being handled and managed in a way that is incorrect. They put the 93 years of NFL experience slide up in the third quarter. I thought, this is cruel to do this to us.
And that's James Madison's broadcast. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Well, I think so. Well, in fairness, I think, if you talk to, the people that are in broadcast, like they have this stuff planned out. Like, we're gonna talk about this, we're gonna talk about this, we're gonna talk about this, and they have all these things pre-prepared. But what James Madison did when they replaced their coach, they went to a guy that said, have you led a team before? Because it's really important we get somebody that's actually led a team before. Can you do more with less? How do you recruit? Like, what's your, can you bring an identity to this team? Like, what's the deal? And they did it, and they are reaping the benefits of hitting those checklists. We didn't do it.
Yeah, but I think those are two also different, AJ. I mean, you're talking about replacing a coach who is successful, and so you have pieces that hang around, and you're replacing that coach who is successful with someone who has also been successful and has been a head coach before. And I think you've said that today, and I don't want to not give you credit for that, but there is a completely different look about it when you are you have a new head coach because you weren't successful than versus when you were.
That's totally fair. That's totally right. I think a caveat to this, for example, in the reason why Drinkwitz was so successful is because the players stayed, and the best players, when Signetti left, the best players left. The best players left, and they had a little bit of a dip last year. JMU, when I say they had a dip, they had 4 losses, and this year they also had guys leave this year. I mean, it's a constant battle, and it is fair to bring up those are different contexts. But my overall point is, if you have a valuable brand, and if your program is important, you want to make sure that there, and this was my personal list. I mean, no one asked me, the hiring committee of, the donors we all know, that just wanted a new coach. I don't know what their requirements were. Mine would have been, have you done this before? Have you done more with less? How do you feel about recruiting? Because that's like number one. And again, to Coach Loggins, in fairness to him, I do think he's obsessed with recruiting. He talks about it all the time, which is great for us. I think that, I'm personally going to be very, very interested to see who stays in this recruiting class, and who makes their way up in the winter, because it seems good. Like, it seems like that's a good part, but we have no identity, and it's just not good, man. I mean, it's not good, but yeah, yesterday did not surprise me. The score surprised me a little bit, but the refusal to just try to play complementary football to give our dudes like a chance to catch their breath and to keep our offense on the field a little bit.
There's good coaches will talk about what or sideline reporters will ask coaches during a television broadcast, coach are down by 10 at half. What adjustments need to be made? And the coach will sometimes give them coach speak, and the coach will sometimes say what actually needs to happen. Sometimes you need to make adjustments, not because you're losing or because you're winning, just because the likelihood of you winning has gone down.
Yeah.
Or the likelihood of you losing has gone up, which are, turn kind of the same things. And just kind of protect what you got left.
Yeah.
Because if Dowell's preference is AJ Swan, he didn't put himself in a good position for next week to have AJ Swan play the football game with the season technically not over. I mean, right now we don't want to think about. There's not a lot of great thoughts. It's company line stuff. Certain people have to say it. We know their names. If they listen to this, they know who they are.
Yeah.
We still have 2 games left, and we can be 6-6. But like on this Sunday morning, November the 16th, that is nobody is thinking about. None of the yous and I's. None of the people who are listening, none of the people who are fans, none of the people who do what we do, and go to games and all that good stuff. That is not where our heads are. Mm-hmm. Now, but this sport is great because it could change, and we could say, hey, look, now we're finding something. Yeah. I don't know if we have anything to find. Like, we have what we have. We're set, unless you go and try to find a different way to win.
Yeah,
and that's where the adjustments, it feels like, from all the way back on August 29th have not been made, because it feels like not just over the course of a football game or for over 60 minutes, but over the course of a season, we have not adjusted to what we don't have. It feels like we're trying to do the same thing over and over. And we're going to play this way. This is the and the rebuttal to that could be, well, this is what we're going to run next year, and this is how we're going to run it. This is how I want to win. Well, I don't think you should, put yourself in a position to say, I want to win like this, if you haven't done it yet, on a consistent basis. You got to find that way, whatever that way is for that team that year, and to identify the strengths, and or just not look bad while doing it. You can sit there and say, I got to be dedicated to recruiting and getting better players in here, and that will fit my system and all that. But in the meantime, every time you go out there and your team plays football on ESPN Plus or ESPNU or whatever it may be, that is an advertisement. That's a 3-hour advertisement, 3.5-hour advertisement for your program, for you, and for this university that we all love. Like, that is the best way to put that foot forward. And right now, it doesn't look like we're trying. We have found the best way to put that foot forward for not just Dow Loggins or AJ Swan or Rashad Dominion or Dalton Stroman or Colton Ferris, but for Heather Norris and all the other teachers and professors and administration who have attached their current journey to this school. And I just hope that over the course of these next 2 weeks, we can find the right way to go about whatever is the next step for all of us.
Yeah. What a bummer.
It's a bummer. It's not like 2013.
It's not. Last time Adam tried to make the comparison yesterday in the radio. He tried to say, like, well, 2013 night's darkest for the dawn, and 2014 that's the last time we lost 4 in a row, and look what happened. And like, that's just not correct. That's not correct. And I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to find a silver lining and everything else, and those things are technically true. But Keenan Gilchrist, John Law, Eric Boggs, and Devin Stringer are not on that team to then kind of realize, oh, this is how you do it, and Ronald Blair and all the, like, you don't have that, and so going forward into next year, You just have to really, really hope that lessons have been learned. And you're right, Charles. I mean, yeah, we could win the last 2 home games and be bowl eligible, and that'd be great. But going forward in terms of establishing identity and just getting pride back, we just have to. Our best bet is that these group of players, this crop of players coming in, form together and are coached well, and then decide like this is how it's going to be now. That is it. The coaches can't make them. They can't force them. Lead the horse. You can lead a horse to water, kind of thing. You can get them here, you can train them up, coach them up, but on the field, it's going to be up to the players to decide like how things are going to be. And I think there are plenty of players on our team that really want to do well and really want to make a difference, but we just, like I do too, but I can't do it. So better players.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I mean, it's and Coach Lockins needs to learn from all this too. He is in nothing what I've said. I mean, the man took the job. Job was offered to him, he took it, and he is learning on the job. And all this talk of like, oh no, I could do this. I don't know, man. So it's a G5 head coaching job is brutally hard, and he's learning too. And our hope is, my hope. I'll speak for myself. My hope is that he's taken away from this as many experiences as possible to help himself to be a better leader and be a better head coach. I don't say that sarcastically. I really truly don't. Charles, I know I'm being serious, but
Yeah.
I really do. I hope that every coach, but especially that head coach is the most important person in that building because they set the tone. And I really hope that these experiences of this new world that he's never been in. What I mean by that, he's never been in a G5 mid-major setting ever. Like his idea of being like a mid-major is like a mid-major in the SEC, right? Like the bottom tier of the SEC is like his version of mid-tier. But I really truly hope that Coach Loggins can learn and build on the experiences that he needs to be successful at Appalachia State. Because we will all benefit from it. We've said it from day one. Like we all benefit if we're just win. And something ain't working. Like this whole this whole faceless, nameless opponent thing has got to go in the trash can. Like I heard, AJ Swan said that in the pregame. Heard him say, "Well, yeah, it's another nameless, faceless opponent." No, it's not. You're playing James Madison. You're playing JMU. You're playing on the road against a ranked opponent, and they want to slit your throats. Yeah, it's another faceless, nameless opponent.
We've heard that from everybody across the years. It's like, that's what you say when you play the Citadel or Sanford and Wofford. Like that is what you do when you play Georgia State. You cannot do that when there's history involved with schools such as James Madison, Georgia Southern, and let's throw Coastal Carolina in there because we should, because we better be grading ourselves against beating those guys too. People that get in your way, people that are annoying you, and people that seem to make it a big point to beat you. You got to recognize it. So like you can make comparisons that we've had to. Can you do more with less? Like you can't come in here and just assume that. What is Dallas supposed to do? Not accept the job when it's offered to him?
No, that's my point.
It's not his job to go in there and say, honestly, I mean, I know I applied, and I had a tall road to hoe here, and honestly, I think this guy over here will probably do a better job here. No, he can't do that. He can't do that. So I'm not, then I think that's why we're not coming on here and saying, tear up contracts and stuff like that and get rid of people and this and the other. No, this is about growth and about getting better. That's something we haven't seen yet this year. Probably won't, because we've felt like we've known where we've been going with this for several weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to Adam all day yesterday on the radio, and then as it went off, I wanted to hear more of the post game, and had some audio issues, so I didn't hear his part talking about 2013. But that was a whole lot different because we actually had like a decent finish to it. Like it felt like there was some promise. And when we lost to Montana, up their play set was bad. And we lost at home to North Carolina A&T by 3 points. That didn't feel good.
Charleston Southern.
And then Charleston Southern 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks later, I had a bye. Actually had a bye. And lost by 3. And then we go down to the Citadel and we lost by 3. And then we come back home and play Sanford for homecoming and get beat by 24.
They absolutely crush us. I remember that. They so much bigger than us.
Yeah. And then go down to Furman and you lose again. So I think that's our last 4-game losing streak, right? And so that
14 was our last one, but yes.
14, well, whatever. I'm thinking about 2013 right now.
Yeah, no, I know. Sorry.
Whatever. It's fine. It's all the same to me.
Yeah.
But there was some hope at the end of that tunnel for that because we beat Georgia Southern and it gave us and then we played a good game that next week against Chattanooga. They just happened to beat us 35-28. We played good. We were getting better. And we lost to Georgia as expected. They weren't great. They did have Todd Gurley, but he didn't play a lot in that game. But then we finished the season beating Wofford on the road and then pummeling Western at home. And that's how you finish the season and you say, all right, it wasn't the best way to leave the Southern Conference, but we did. And, there was hope for 2014. It was, we did struggle coming out of the gate there, for those first few weeks. And we looked bad. We looked bad on that Saturday night against South Alabama, and Georgia Southern beat the bejesus out of us, and we had every right to give Southern Miss. That was a missed extra point situation late in the game. We were in it. We never should have lost that Liberty game, but we were in it, right? So I think that's the real frustration is that week. It doesn't feel like we were really in any of these last 4 games.
No,
we may have lost by a possession, but I mean, the second half of Coastal, we weren't in it. There was nothing. First half yesterday, there was nothing. Nothing against Georgia Southern in the first half. There was just dark periods, and I know you went up on us and took the air out of the ball like they always do. That's what happened. So where's our Troy game? Where's that 53-14 where we get it? Where's that 44-0 in the snow? Against Georgia State the following week. Where is kicking a field goal in the fourth quarter to go up 2 by Monroe and getting excited, and then go into Arkansas State and Louisiana and really shocking the world? Where are those games coming for this team, for this program? We want it to be this weekend, and we want to be the next weekend, and that'll feel great. But we'll know and we'll understand where the middle of this season did not look good. Yeah, and I just hope we can find something in us, right? Find something in us that gives us a chance to win, and put our best foot forward, play better, and hope for the best.
Yeah, and I just don't know. And again, we just don't know what's going on behind closed doors. But when you come out, I just don't know what the big deal is in saying. I'll just give you an example for this upcoming week. Hey man, we got Marshall coming in here. Great opportunity to beat the Thundering Herd.
Yeah, they're looking for win 6, so they have something to play for.
let's beat the Herd, man. Blue Ridge rivals here. We want to beat their brains in, man. Yeah, we want to beat the Herd. Why this whole 1-0 faceless opponent? Why force that? Why force that mentality? And that's obviously a mentality because that's what the players are saying. It's another nameless faceless opponent. It's not though. Charles, you're right. You got to say, nope, we're not looking at what's on the helmet. We're just looking to play hard. Yes, that's what Robert Morris. We said that against Robert Morris. Hey, they're coming out there to win too. It's kind of like Coach Moore when we played LR after Michigan. Hey, that's a well-coached team. Hey, you got to say those things. But we just went on the road against a team that could not have wanted to beat us more after the last 2 years. And we just got ready for a nameless, faceless friggin' opponent. And I know that there was a lot more juice back in the day for Arkansas State than there is now. But these guys are fighting for their lives now. That's what the tone should be. And I don't know. This is just anyway. We're a really bad team, and I really, really hate that for the guys that have logged their time here for more than a couple years. I really hate it for them. I hate that AJ Swan continues to get jacked up, when the score is so lopsided. Apparently I missed Brandon Turner's rant on that. I turned the radio on as soon as I think it was you that said, "Oh, Brandon Turner."
Yeah. That was he was and appropriately, in my opinion, he had every right to be.
What did he say?
Paraphrasing here a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're calling a game like this. I don't know why you're letting your quarterback sit in the back of the pocket and get eaten alive. And he got so upset about it. Like, when you're a broadcast partner with somebody, I know what you're thinking sometimes. You know what I'm thinking. I'm sure A-Dub and Brandon Turner know what they're thinking. Know where this thing is going. And he was like, we got to get out of here or something like that. I don't know. That's paraphrasing. That is not exact words. But you could tell he wanted to say more. And I can't remember if Adam said this exactly or not, but he's like, "Yep, we're going to take this to break." Because I'm sure at that moment they knew they had 90 seconds or whatever, or 2 minutes or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And that might have been one of those take your headsets off, look at your partner, and just shake your head.
Take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath. Hope nothing comes across that hot mic, and hope nobody hears something, and push that cough button, right? And say what needs to be said, and get it out of your system so you can continue your broadcast.
Yeah, I got a lot of text messages too about that. Like, why is this happening? Like, why are we doing this to this kid? I don't know. There's a reason for everything, but it doesn't mean it's the right reason. Charles, this is just, I hate to say it, like, the episodes, we got a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's going to be so hard for you guys, take a day off." These are easy. The ones that are harder, the day after the Halloween game against Georgia Southern, where our first loss in 20, that's hard. Those are the hard ones. These have not been hard. Like, yeah, we got destroyed. We're bad, and JMU's good. What else? What do you think was going to happen? I hate sounding that curt about it, but it really was. Like, a good buddy of mine was like, "Man, the line's 21.5. Like, I'm gonna surely." I'm like, "I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not a gambler, but I don't even know if I'd take that." And there you go. So,
yeah, I think we've said what we need to say. We could say more, but it's not going to help us.
No.
And we have things to do on this Sunday.
Watch a basketball game here in a few hours.
Yeah, 2 of them actually.
2 hours. Yeah, here we go. All right, folks. Well, thanks for absorbing all of this with us again. I feel like this was just like last week, honestly. But we do have 2 home. I'll say this one thing: us going out here, us hanging this up. We have 2 more home games. And those boys that put on their helmets and their pads, they're going out there whether you're there or not. And attendance matters. Hearing voices in the stands matter for these guys. And you can say all you want about, well, yeah, but they're lifeless on the sideline. They're not even pumped up. Why should I show up? Like, I hear that. But at the end of the day, like, when your kid's pitching a fit or when your kid's not acting right or whatever, they're going through something. You don't just shut your kid out, your friends out, just because they're going through something and they're not acting the way you want them to act. You got to be there for your team. And so I would just encourage people to take advantage of the last 2 home games. What
can we do to put our best foot forward? Like, what position are we in? Like, I was talking about earlier, like, the coaches can make better plans, the players can play better and prepare. What can we do? We can just be there and we show up. Like, that's what's required of us, to be there.
That's right.
Because I can't imagine our support for our university coming down to wins and losses. Support is support, whatever it is and whenever it is. And honestly, there's a lot of people who need it now more than they've ever needed it before.
And just, encourage even people, if you're used to tailgating or getting up there early, whatever. This year's been very different for me with my son playing football. I haven't been able to get to Boone early, not once this year. Not one time have I been able to get there early and enjoy like the pregame scene. We've either been right on time, a little late, but we haven't gotten there like hours early that we're used to. So if you're thinking about like it's too much to do a whole time, fine, just go to the game. Just go to the game, put your butts in the stands, make a lot of noise, because I'm telling you, football's hard. These guys have been working since January, literally been working since January, and we only have 6 home games. We got 2 left, with a chance to make this a respectable record season. We've been aided very much by our schedule to get to this mark, but we have a chance. And so don't let this game against JMU take you out. If you can do it, do it. Be at the game. So, and if you can't, you can't. Whatever. But that's what I'm going to say. All right, everybody. Thanks for downloading this episode of the Black and Gold Podcast. Until our pregame Marshall episode this week. Go Apps.